how beautiful India is. And it is more beautiful when it comes about knowing the physical features of India, especially about its beauty. Hello everyone, this is Shruti Tapasvi and today I am going to tell you all about a new chapter, that is chapter number 2, Geography, Physical Features of India. India is a vast country with varied landforms such as plain, hilly region, mountains, valleys, deserts, islands and plateaus. All these are known as physiological divisions. The important physiological divisions are Himalayan mountains, northern plains, desert, the peninsular region, coastal plain and island. Now let's know about all of them one by one. The very first one is mountain. Himalayas are young and structurally fold mountains. Young because they are formed much more earlier than any other mountain ranges and structurally fold. These are present in northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in the west-east direction from Indus to the Brahmaputra. They form an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. Its width varies from 150 km in Arunachal Pradesh to 400 km in Kashmir. Altitudinal variation are greater in eastern half than those of the western half, as it also contains so many highest peaks. Now, the Himalaya consists of parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent, which are Lesser Himalayas, Greater Himalaya and Shivalik. Himadri is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peak with an average height of 6,000 meters, average width of 150 to 400 kilometers and the height altitude of 6,000 meters. The core part of Himalaya is composed of granite. There is 365 days snow bounds in Himalayas. Also, a number of glaciers descend from the range. Now, it's time to know about Himachal, Lesser Himalaya. Width is all on average 50 kilometers and altitude from 3,700 to 4,500 meters. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. The Dhauladhar and the Mahabharata range are also the prominent ones. This range consists of the famous valley of Kashmir, the Kangra and the Kullu valley in Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for its hill stations. Now the width of Shivaliks extends from 10 to 50 kilometers and the altitude from 900 to 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated segments brought down by river from the main Himalayan range located further north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik are known as dunes. Dehradun, Kotli Dune and Patli Dune are some of the well-known dunes. Beside the longitudinal division, the Himalayas has been divided on the basis of region from west to east. For example, the region between Indus and Satluj river is Punjab Himalaya. Satluj and Kali river is Kumaon Himalaya. Kali and Teesta river is Nepal Himalaya. Teesta and Dihang river is Assam Himalaya. Beyond the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and span along the eastern boundary of India. This is known as Purvanchal, also called Eastern Hills and Mountains. It comprises the Patkai Hills, Naga Hill, Manipur Hill and Mizo Hill. Now it's time to know about Northern Plains. Northern plains are formed by the interplay of three major river systems, Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. The northern plain are formed by the silt deposit by Himalayan rivers. These plains are formed by the alluvial soil. The area covered by the plain is 7 lakh kilometers. The plain is about 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad. The northern plain are best suited for agriculture as the soil found their region is very fertile. Rice, wheat, sugarcane, millet, jute and maize are some crop grow in this region. The northern plain are flatland, hence they facilitate the construction of road and railways. The northern plains are densely populated. Rivers coming from the northern mountains are involved in depositional work. The lower course, due to the gentle slope of the velocity of the river, decreases, which result in the formation of riverine islands. Northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. First is Punjab plain formed by Indus and its tributaries. Second is Ganga plain extends between Ghagar and Teesta river. Third one is Brahmaputra plain. It is in Assam. Doab is a land between two river delta is the end of any river. According to the variation in the relief feature, the northern plain can be divided into four regions into Bhabhar, Terai, Bhangar and Khedar. Rivers, after descending from mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 kilometers in width, lying parallel to the slope of the Shivalik is known as Bhabhar. All the streams disappears in the Bhabhar belt. South of the belt has streams of river re-emerge, creating a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Terai. The large part of northern plain is formed of old alluvium. It lies above the footplains of the river and presents a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar, and the newer and the younger deposit of footplains are called Khadars. Now let's begin with Peninsular Plateaus. The Peninsular Plateau is a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rock. It was formed due to the breaking and drafting of the Gondwana land and thus making it a part of the oldest landmark. The plateau has broad and shallow valley and rounded hills. The plateau consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The Vindhyan Range is bounded by the Satpura Range in the south and the Aravalli on the northwest. The flow of the rivers draining region, namely Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Kain, are from southward to the northeast. This indicates the slope. The Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrow in the east. The eastward extension of a plateau are known as Bundelkhand and the Bugelkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension. The Deccan Plateau is the triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura Range flanks its bound base of the north, while the Mahadev and Kaimur Hills and the Malekal Range forms the eastern extension. The extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast location, known as Meghalaya, Kavi Anglo Plateau and the North Kakhar Hills. Three prominent hill ranges from the west to the east are the Garo, the Khasi and the Jentai Hills. Now let's talk about Western and Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. The average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters, as against 600 meters in the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats stretches from Mahadevi Valley to the Nandagiri in the south. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and disturbed by the river draining into Bay of Bengal. Anaimudi 2695 meter, Mahendragiri 1501 meter is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Roy Hills and the Jawadi Hills are located to the southeast of the Eastern Ghats. Now let's know about the Indian Desert. The Indian Desert can be located at the western part of India. It is also known as the Great Indian Desert or the Thar Desert. Now lies towards the western margin of the Aravalli Hills. It is an undulating sandy plain covered with sand dunes. They are created when wind deposits sand on top of each other unit. A small mound start to form. The Thar Desert carries or receives very less rainfall below 150 millimeter per year, known as arid climate. It is a climate in which there is an excess of evaporation over precipitation. The Thar Desert is very hot and dry. Low vegetation covers. Thar Desert also contains one more feature, that is seasonal rivers. Seasonal rivers are the rivers which flow only in a rainy season and remain dry mostly throughout the year. Luni River is the only river in the desert and it appears during the rainy season. But in dry season, you cannot see them. It disappears into the sand as it does not have enough water to reach the sea. Now it's time to know about coastal plains. The peninsular plateau is flanked by the stretch of narrow coast strip running along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. The western coast, sandwiched between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea, is a narrow plain. It consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called the Konkan from Mumbai to Goa, and the central stretches is called the Kannada Plain, while the southern stretch refers to Malabar coast. Plain along the Bay of Bengal, wide and level. In the northern part, it is refers to as the Northern Kekhar, while in the southern part, it is known as Coromandel coast. Large rivers such as Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri have formed extensive delta and coast. Lake Chilika is an important feature along the eastern coast. Now let's know about the islands. India is also having two main island groups, that are Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar island groups. First, Lakshadweep is closer to Malabar coast of Kerala. This group of islands composed of small coral islands. Earlier they were known as Lakadweep, Minicoy and Amidev. In 1973, these were named as Lakshadweep. It covers an area of 32 square kilometers. Kavaratti Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. Elongated chain of islands located in the Bay of Bengal, extended from north to south, is known as Andaman and Nicobar Island. These are big in size and more numerous and scattered. The entire island can be divided into two broad categories, that is Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. The island groups are great strategic importance for the country. India's only active volcano is found in barren island of Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. The detailed account of different physiologic units highlights the unique feature of each region. The mountains are the major source of water and forest wealth. Northern plain are the granaries of country, provide the base for earlier civilization. Plateau is the storehouse of minerals, plays a crucial role in industrialization of the country. Coastal region and island provides the site for fishing and port activities. Thus, the diverse physical features of the land have immense future possibility of development. With this note, I would like to say thank you to all of